What's up, everyone? Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling episode 18th. It is the January 27th edition. I'm Denise Salcedo. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Boy, is it a week in wrestling. So not only did we have AEW and NXT tonight, we have the Royal Rumble coming this weekend. And then next week, we also have Beach Break. So there is a lot to talk about here tonight. And I, for one, am excited to go ahead and jump in and talk about it all. BTW, for those of you who are new to the stream, this is a very interactive stream. So as we go through and talk about everything that happened on tonight's shows, I will be reading your comments. So make sure that you guys are very, very active. If you are listening to the audio version of this, I'm also very excited to have you on here. I feel like I always forget to acknowledge the audio version listeners. So I want to make sure to give those people a shout out as well. Also, a friendly reminder that at any point you are more than welcome to send in a super chat and I will read it on this stream. It is the best way to support me on this channel. F4W does allow me to keep 100% of the proceeds right after YouTube takes their cut. So it really does help a girl out when you guys send in those super chats. And getting it started for us here today is Haj Gulashi, who sent in a super chat. Thank you so much to Haj Gulashi. He says, getting that early Denise support super chat in before the hype. Thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate it. So there is, oh my God, there's some, okay, hold on. Actually, we got another super chat in here. So thank you so much to Matthew Makovsky, who says, so what blonde will return during the wedding to be Penelope Ford's lesbian lover? Also, chances Seth wins the Rumble, loses, but then joins Roman. Okay, so first of all, what a nod to that, you know, to the Rusev Lana, Bobby Lashley shenanigans that we saw, like, I think, what was it, like last year or something? I was trying to forget it, Matthew Makovsky, but you clearly have brought it back into my memory, into existence. I do not think that we're going to be seeing, to answer your second question, I do not think we're going to be seeing Seth join up with Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns is off doing his own thing. He's good, man. He's one of the best things in wrestling right now. So I don't necessarily think that he needs Roman Reigns. But thank you so much for the super chat. You are awesome. Oh my God, guys. All right, so this is what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about AEW. We're going to talk about NXT, and then we're going to go ahead and do some Royal Rumble predictions as well. Really quick, since the card really isn't completely stacked because we do have two Royal Rumble matches, so we won't have as many matches to go ahead and jump into in terms of that. But what did you guys all think about AEW and NXT so far for tonight? I was glancing at some of the comments before I started this show, and I'm seeing that people really enjoyed AEW this week. So go ahead and let me know what you guys thought. Personally, before I recap both shows, I thought they were perfectly fine. I thought AEW was a lot better this week than it was the week prior, because last week we had nothing good to say about AEW Dynamite. NXT was just okay today. I thought that there were about two highlights for me on this show for NXT, but overall it was kind of just there. I didn't think anything completely blew me out of the water, maybe except for that ending, which I'll go into later on tonight. But for the most part, I thought it was an okay show. I thought AEW also had some really strong highlights, but also was an okay show. But let's go ahead and see what you guys are thinking about here. We have a comment for, let's see, BJ Racine 21, who says, Jungle Boy versus Dax was incredible. When I talk about highlights, everyone, in terms of looking at both AEW and NXT as a whole here today, the highlights from both of those shows was really this Jungle Boy Dax match. Like, I seriously enjoyed this match so much, and once we go in and talk about it, I will tell you guys why, but it really was a good one here today. And we have a comment from R. Riggs, who says, loved AEW. The past 2 weeks were average. This was definitely a step up. I thought they did a really good job today of sort of getting everybody prepped and hyped for next week's Beach Break. And that was exactly what they needed to do. They needed to promote next week's show, really hype it up, because I feel like they've been hyping up this show for a very long time. So it's finally like, okay, we're finally getting to it. It's next week. This is, this is really the day for them to really promote this show. So I thought they did a really good job at that, actually. All righty. We have a comment from David Padilla who says, why MJF and Jericho aren't the only Inner Circle tag team that is going to be in the Battle Royal? ? They won a match last week to be the official tag team of the stable. See, I have completely opposite opinions about this whole Inner Circle thing, and I will go into this more later on. I actually kind of feel opposite. Like, in terms of the fact that MJF and Jericho won that match and they're the, I guess you can say, official tag team of the stable, I actually feel like they shouldn't be. I really think that they should. I'm actually kind of tired of always seeing MJF and Jericho as the ones in all the matches, getting all the wins. I actually think they need to let more members of the Inner Circle actually shine. So I'm a little bit on opposite ends when it comes to that. We have a comment from, all right, let's see. Send in your comments, everybody. We have a comment from Ryan Smith who says, I think Tony Khan paying the rights to Tarzan Boy for Jungle Boy is going to pay off. Jungle Boy should be a big star for AEW for the next several years. Dude, so prior to this, I was just thinking how whenever we go back to live events, I cannot wait to just be like bobbing my head up and down to Jungle Boy's theme song, because boy, that is a good and catchy, fun song. Like, it feels really fun. And alrighty, any other thoughts here before we go ahead and jump into everything here? All right, we have a comment from, I'll read this one, from Al Nelso, who says, this is going to be a big moment for Jungle Boy's career. Looking back, I feel 100%. And that was one of the things that I said, is that matches like this for Jungle Boy is really what's going to keep building him up as a challenger. You know, so many of us have mentioned that he's going to be one of AEW's big stars, big names, you know, in the years to come. And it's matches like this that are going to continue to keep building him up to that, to get to that potential, essentially. So yeah, I completely feel you for this. So let's go ahead and kick off AEW Dynamite and talk about some of the highlights. Kicking it off was Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer. This match was okay. It didn't completely blow me out of the water here whatsoever. However, there was a weird choke slam from Archer to Kingston during this match that it kind of looked like he didn't have a good grip. So that was a little bit brutal to watch. But other than that, this match was fine. I enjoyed the finish. I think the finish was a good way to protect Lance Archer and Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston essentially had the help from Butcher and the Blade and Bunny using the brass knucks, I think it was, that he used to essentially get his win. And Lance Archer, you know, he came across looking really good, really powerful, really strong in this match. And that's obviously what we needed. So they found a good way to sort of protect both guys. And I didn't have an issue with this whatsoever. Alrighty. And then after this, guys, so all right, let's read this comment actually from a Wrecked Isle Dysfunction says, the reason it wasn't a mind-blowing match between Kingston and Archer is probably because it will be a lights-out match at Revolution. I mean, they could definitely keep it going, especially the way that it ended tonight. Why not keep it going? I'm completely there for that. And David Padilla says, Eddie Kingston needed that win. Dude, completely. No, you know what? I can't necessarily, I think that Eddie Kingston, the way they did it, the way that it played out, I thought was perfectly fine. I really, really did think so. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the Sting and Darby segment. So we've been on here each and every single week. I know there were some people that were complaining, saying, hey, man, we're getting tired of Sting coming out and doing the same old thing. Because we got so many people in the chat that were kind of, you know, a little irritated with the way that this Darby Allin Sting storyline was progressing. And I think that today was finally something that the fans wanted to see. So we got them doing a backstage promo. They're in some sort of building, some sort of empty building. And Sting basically starts off by saying that he got his feelings hurt based on what Taz and his guys said, that they called them hoodlums. And then Darby says that it didn't really matter in terms of whether or not someone plays dirty or they play clean. And in the end, they basically both said that they are hoodlums. So they end up smashing windows, and then bam, that's it. I love this. I think that this was the best way to kind of give them something more instead of always just having the same thing over and over again. This was a thing that I think fans wanted to see, is give them a little bit of a story. Let's see them together. Let's see them interact. Let's see them talk. Let's see them in their own environments. And this was a cool setting for them so far. We have a comment from Hushburger who says Sting should teach Darby how to play baseball. BJ Rancine says Sting having the time of his life, smashing windows. Hey, smashing windows, smashing anything definitely lets out a lot of the stress that some of us may definitely have. Alrighty, guys, let's see what else you guys thought here. Oh man, okay, we have a comment from Lord David Flacco, who did think that both shows were really good. Patrick Della Pena says Eddie is over like a rover with talking. Everything he does feels big win or lose to me. All right. Fair enough. Zayn Mailer says this promo was fire, to be honest. Dude, it really was. And this is a thing that I really think that fans have been wanting to see. They've been wanting to see that interaction between Darby and Sting. They both had this very mysterious relationship or friendship, whatever you want to call it. So this is the first time we finally got some sort of insight into that. So that was actually pretty good. Matthew Makovsky says Darby should teach Sting how to skateboard. Bro, might as well teach each other what you guys can do best, by the way. Also, just a reminder as we move along, because I am seeing a lot of new faces on here. Thank you so much for anybody who's chosen to check out this show. You guys are awesome. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the F4W Online YouTube channel, this channel right here. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. We are well on our way we're getting closer and closer to 100,000 subscribers. So hopefully I can help out a little bit by getting some of you guys to go ahead and subscribe. Let's jump into Chris Jericho and MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison, the Varsity Blondes. All right, this is where I got some complaining to do, and everybody likes to hear some complaint. Well, not everybody, but let's talk about my complaints for this. So my complaints for this is that, and I kind of said this already at the top of the show, I really want to see the other members of the Inner Circle actually get some matches. I really do feel like it's always MJF and Jericho, and I get it. They're the stars of the group. I 100% get that, but it's gotten to the point where everybody else is sort of like background. They're filler, they're shadows. And it's not necessarily where I think that this best benefits them. I kind of feel like it's getting a little bit old seeing the MJF Jericho thing. Like they need to give it a little bit more life by adding some of the members to actually have some matches. And then also, so this match here, we did have Jericho win after he did the Judas Effect and the Lion Salt to win the match. And I'm thinking to myself, why, if they're going to be doing this, why not have MJF get some wins? I think that if MJF, because he's sort of like the guy that, you know, the other members of the Inner Circle can't stand. They don't really fully trust them, especially Sammy. So if you have MJF actually be the one getting wins, it sort of makes him more annoying, more unbearable. Like, oh, we hate this guy, but he's the one getting all the wins for the Inner Circle. I actually think that would be more, that would actually be more interesting for me. Honestly, I just really think that they need to give the other members of the Inner Circle some more opportunities to shine. With that being said, this match was okay, and I think that Griff Garrison was actually the one that really stood out to me in this match. Like the best moments were actually when Griff Garrison was in there, basically killing it. I think that both of these guys, whenever they get an opportunity, they really do take advantage of whatever opportunity they do get. So more power to them. But what did you guys all think about this match? Let's see what you guys are saying here. All righty. Okay, thank you so much to R Riggs for pulling this up. All right, R Riggs, I was gonna say this, and then I debated whether or not I was actually gonna bring this up myself. But since you brought it up, I'm gonna go ahead and actually talk about this. So R Riggs says, I felt the Lion Salt was Jericho's response to the flack he got over the one last week. I 100% thought about the exact same thing too, because I don't know, maybe it's just one of those things where people are always trying to connect the dots, or because something happened last week, it's fresh in your mind. I think because everybody was trashing that lion salt that Jericho did last week, it was kind of like, haha, okay, well, I'm going to get the win this week, and I'm going to have it, have it be with the lion salt, looking fantastic like he normally has it. And so I actually thought the exact same thing here, R-Rig. So I'm actually kind of glad that I wasn't the only one that thought this. Alrighty. Okay, we have a comment from Nicholas Jackus who says, the idea with only having MJF and Jericho is to watch as that anger from the other members gets more heated. Case in point with Sammy and MJF tonight. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So in that sense, I do get it. But at the same time, then if somebody's watching Dynamite and they're you need a reason to care about all the other members. Like, I feel like some of us have reasons that we already care for the other members because we already know what they can do, but sometimes not everybody is like that. So I feel like they still need to be given some sort of stake, some sort of shine to where they can actually be like, oh, like that frustration could come out. But I do get what you mean in terms of getting the frustration out from the other members. And alrighty, everybody else here. And Tano says, especially that Jericho smirk directly into the camera during the pin. Dude, I didn't notice that actually. The smirk that you said he did towards the camera. Oh man, I actually didn't catch that whatsoever. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and continue up until this one here. Alrighty, so after this, we had a promo from Pac, which this was actually pretty cool. So I mainly loved the setting of this. It started out with like this television, and to be honest, I understood half of what Pac was saying in this just because of the accent. But overall, I thought that it delivered. And here's the thing about Pac too, is that I wasn't always a big fan of Pac. It took a while for me to get really invested in him. There's those guys that everybody says, oh, they're good, they're great. But sometimes it takes you personally a while to get into them. I was never really a fan of his when he was in WWE. And so I think when he came into AEW, I wasn't completely as hyped for him. However, in recent weeks, I feel like I have completely changed my mind on Pac because there's something new about him that I'm seeing. I don't know if it's the confidence or what it is, but I'm seeing this new like monster aggression in him that I didn't see in him before. And that's what's really working for me. That's what's really connecting to me. Like, he's starting to have that like that vibe that you have somebody like a Tommaso Ciampa has. Like, that sort of vibe I'm getting from Pac, and that is what is bringing me more interested in him overall. And so Zane Miller, we have a comment from Zane who says, the Pac promo was cool. I'm a sucker when they turn new TV into VHS. And we also have a comment over from Hushberger who says Pac became cool when he turned heel. Yeah, I 100% agree with that as well. D-Trade Riot Maker says, gone are the days of Aaron Neville, that's for sure. Yeah, I wasn't all that crazy about Neville. I always, liked his agility and all of that, but sometimes it takes more than, just the moves to really connect with somebody. R. Riggs says, Pac has been so much better since leaving WWE. His matches in Noah and the run-up to the matches with Omega have been great. Agreed, guys. Oh, good. We have a comment from Cara Della Chile who says, I seen this girl interview Peyton Royce. It was good. Cara Della Chile, thank you so much for checking out my interview with Peyton Royce. Since you commented on this, I might as well use that into segueing into actually promoting my interview with Peyton Royce. Guys, on my channel, which you can find the link to that in the description box of this video, I did get to interview Peyton Royce here today ahead of the Royal Rumble. And not only do we talk about the Royal Rumble, which this is barely her second one that she's in, her second Royal Rumble. So we talk about that. And then she also really gives me an insight into the breakup of the Iconics and how it's sort of been for her to not have her best friend, her confidant, Billie Kay, right next to her, sort of riding this wild journey along with her. So check out that interview with Peyton Royce. If you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. Alrighty. Yeah. Matthew McCoskey points out, cheap plug, Denise, cheap plug. Hey, if you guys bring it up, I will discuss it. All right. I will discuss it. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and continue on, guys. All right, this next segment, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to be negative about this next segment, all right? I was not feeling this. Oh my God, I was not feeling this. So please do not hate me. I don't want to sound, again, I hate when I have to say that I don't like something, but I have to say I did not like this. All right, the Shaq promo, Cody thing, Red Velvet, all of this, I was not feeling this. So on the AEW Dynamite Awards, Shaq essentially cuts a promo on Cody Rhodes and basically says, "You little punk with your little blonde hair, you look like a little girl, and he's gonna fight him in March," and all of this. This was horrible, guys. It was so bad. It was so bad. I can't buy Shaq in this like spot. He doesn't, it's not working for me. It's not connecting with me whatsoever. And then when he tells them, "With your little blonde hair looking like a little girl," I'm like, what little girl has hair like Cody Rhodes? I have seen plenty of little girls. I was a little girl. I know a bunch of little girls. Not one little girl that I've seen has, not once did I ever think Cody Rhodes hair reminds me of a little girl. It's like, bro, come on. I think that they could have done better trash talking here other than "You're a little punk with your blonde hair and you look like a girl." A little girl, excuse me. I really just think that you can do a lot better trash talking than that. Yeah, I have to agree with this one here. John Singer, who says the whole thing sucks. Alifer Montado, who says Cody and Shaq feud is so bad. BHRO says Shaq looked like he was falling asleep during that promo. I don't know what it is, guys. It just wasn't working for me. And I'm a fan of Shaq's, guys. I'm a fan. But this just isn't doing it for me whatsoever. I have zero interest. And then after this, I just thought that the whole segment with Cody coming out and Arn and all of this, I thought it was completely long-winded, drawn out. It got to the point where I was zoning out. I was like not even paying attention at this point. And so I kind of just thought it was boring. After this, we find out that Red Velvet comes out. She's going to be Cody's partner. And this was weird to me because I just don't really, I feel like we weren't really given a backstory on Red Velvet on Dynamite. I feel like the fans are just expected to know and expected to care about her in this situation. And it's just not fitting with me. And I get it. He needs a partner. So whatever, you can definitely let it pass. But it just kind of feels to me like we're being forced to get into this. We're being forced to accept how this storyline has convoluted and come together. But I'm not feeling this, guys. This was, I'm out on this one. I have absolutely zero interest. So let's see what you guys are all saying here, because I haven't seen, I mean, if you like this, I would love to know what you guys think of this in terms of like, if it's good, why do you think it's good? Okay, we have some people saying that Razor Gem and Danny both think that Red Velvet was good. She wasn't bad. I actually thought she was, promo-wise, she was probably even a little bit better than Jade. I didn't think she was horrible. It's just that I feel like we don't have enough information about her. Like, why is she so invested in this? Like, why? We have a super chat. Thank you so much to Brandon, who sends in a super chat. He says, "Here's a super chat for that Shaq impersonation," which, by the way, was a really terrible impersonation of Shaq. Okay. Kara also wants to know, why is this storyline happening? David Padillas kind of said it. He's answering this one. He says, "This Shaq versus Cody storyline is not doing good mainstream publicity to AEW." And I think that's what they expected. But I don't know how much of the mainstream audience cares. I don't know, because that's not the person that they're trying to appeal to, the persons that they're trying to appeal to with this and gain their attention. I'm not that person. So I don't know if it's working or not in the sense of the other people, if it's getting, all the NBA fans to get interested in this. I don't know, because I'm not really big on that scene. So I'm kind of out on this one. We have a comment from Coolski, who says, "I thought it was a really nice way of introducing Velvet." It was fine. But I think it should have been something that could have been done weeks and weeks prior already. And I get it, she was the one that was attacked, but even then that felt random to me. So I just kind of feel like there's a big disconnection with this storyline. And every single week, I feel like they're trying to find their path as to where this is actually leading. And our rig says, it is happening because Shaq has a larger following than all of wrestling combined, but it just isn't working. Dude, it's just, yeah, it's not. And sometimes following, just because somebody has a following doesn't always mean that they're going to be great or that they're going to be good in this spot. So, pass. We have a comment from Al Fermentado who says, he thinks Arn is going to turn heel because all mistakes and distractions feuds by Cody. Interesting. If anybody else feels that way, go ahead and let me know in the comment section here. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and move on here. So let's talk about Hangman Page versus Ryan Nemeth here. So this one for me, this was a good just to get a win for Hangman Page. I don't know how else to put this to you guys, but I don't think I could ever come up with a bad word to say about Hangman Page. I'm a fan, guys. I'm a fan. All right. And I like the direction in which this is going, where last week he essentially rejected going into the Dark Order. And then this week, he's kind of, Matt Hardy is sort of, feeling him out, wanting him to be part of, his thing with Private Party and all of that. And he doesn't look remotely interested either. I like how he is sort of being that lone, and not to say lone wolf, but essentially the lone wolf type of renegade guy. I like that for Hangman Page, and I kind of like where this is going too with this. In terms of this match with Ryan Nemeth, I would say that Ryan is pretty solid in the ring, but I don't think for me, there wasn't anything else to really grab my attention with him. I actually thought that this would have been a better spot for somebody that we've seen on AEW and AEW Dark. I thought having one of those guys in this spot would have made a lot more sense. A perfect example of who I thought could have been in this match with Hangman Page to make more sense was actually Danny Limelight, because Danny Limelight we've seen recently come into the company, making a big name for himself and all of that. This would have been a good spot to get him in there just so that people could get used to seeing him a little bit more, because I do think that is one of the issues with so much talent that AEW has on their roster. You see guys and they have these, nice moments, and then they sort of get swept away and forgotten about. And we've seen that a lot throughout the entire roster. So I would like for certain people to be brought back. And so in this spot, I think that Danny Limelight would have definitely worked, and he would have had a really good match with Hangman Page. That's not to say that Ryan wasn't good and he wasn't bad. I just kind of feel like, yeah, I think that somebody from AEW Dark could have probably utilized this spot a lot better. And we have a comment from Danny who says, no, I wanted Hangman with the Dark Order. I was getting invested. Sidebar, I also love the direction he is going. I'm excited to see what is next for him. I actually thought that he was going to be in the Dark Order too. I wasn't expecting for him to actually reject the Dark Order. I thought it was a clear-cut decision, but now that they're not going that direction, I'm starting to like it. I kind of hope that everybody tries to throw their shot at Hangman Page, every stable in AEW. I kind of would like it if they're like, hey, you want to be a part of us? And he's like, no. And then the next group, hey, you want to be a part of us? And he's like, no. I actually like that. I think that would be something cool there. And we have a comment from Wrestling Fandom who says, Matt Hardy is absolutely brilliant for trying to manipulate Hangman Page into joining his faction and stealing him away from the Dark Order. And Zane Miller, I'll read your comment because it made me laugh. He says, Hangman squash against Dolph Ziggler Jr. Good stuff. All right, I laughed at that. I laughed. All right, let's move on. Okay, we have a comment from Razor Jam who says, this was a pass for me. Ryan needs work on selling. Yeah, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Our rig says, decent match. Didn't really do much for me until the Hardy stuff at the end. Completely agree. Joseph Boza says, bingo, Denise. All this did was keep Paige relevant in the singles division, but I think the bigger deal was that Matt Hardy is trying to build a Hardy Party profile as business manager a la MVP. Yeah, I agree. In all of this, I agree. All right. Oh my God, we're getting so many comments. By the way, guys, if there's a comment that you're like, I really need Denise to read, feel free to send in a super chat. Once again, F4W does allow me to keep 100% of this proceeds. And I gotta say, it is a very nice addition to my paycheck. So feel free to send in a super chat if there's a comment that I haven't gotten to. Although I do try to read most of your comments, even if they're not in super chats, but sometimes I can't get to all of them. But there you guys go. Let's kick it off. Let's continue on with what I thought was the highlight of both AEW and NXT combined, and it was the Dax Harwood versus Jungle Boy match. I'll start off by saying this. These are the types of matches that we need to continue seeing Jungle Boy have to keep building him as this competitor, as this challenger, as this future star that we all know that he could be. This was great stuff, guys. I mean, everything from this match was good. Jungle Boy got to really show off. He had really good. He looked really great in this match in terms of his kicks were great. His chops were great. I mean, he was just, they kept this really great momentum throughout the entire match. And these two guys ended up having this chemistry that I kind of really didn't expect. Like when you and I, when we think of maybe dream matches, I don't know how many of us might have had Dax versus Jungle Boy. I know it wasn't necessarily on my list, but now I wouldn't mind seeing a couple more of these matches. I thought it was great. I like the incorporation of having Luchasaurus handcuffed to Tully and Cash, you know, during the match. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And even the post-match stuff I thought was good because they essentially cut off Luchasaurus's horns. And I, for one, thought that was a pretty that was a good incorporation because of the character. It just really works for, you know, Luchasaurus, and just the fact that they cut off his horns is really, really insulting. And if someone cuts off your horns and you're a Luchasaurus, you best damn right know that he's going to be pissed off. So I liked all of this. And then not only that, so here we go. So I was already enjoying this match. But I wasn't expecting for Jungle Boy to actually win. I thought that Dax was going to win. I thought, okay, they're going to give him a really good match. I was planning on coming on here and telling you all, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses, because as long as he's having these great matches, Jungle Boy is going to continue to grow. That's what I thought I was going to come on here and tell all of you guys. But instead, I'm on here telling you guys that Jungle Boy got a win. And not only that, he made him tap. I wasn't expecting this finish. I thought it was awesome. Top to bottom, this was by far one of the best things that I have seen in recent weeks on AEW Dynamite. And it was definitely the best moments of AEW and NXT combined. We have a comment. We have a super chat actually from Dagon. Dagon, thank you so much for sending in a super chat. He says, hi Denise, just throwing support. Also check out my new AEW NXT recap show on stereo at Dagon SB Thursdays at 4:05 p.m. EST right after Observer Live. Dagon, thank you so much for sending in a super chat. Congratulations on your work, and just keep killing it, man. Keep killing it. We also have another super chat from Hodge. Hodge, thank you so much. Hodge says, can we all agree that low-key FTR signing with AEW was one of the best things to happen in wrestling in the past year? They are so damn good. Also, you're the best. Thank you so much for the kind comment. And I think a lot of people would definitely agree with you, because FTR is doing some of their best work right now in AEW. So congrats, more power to them there. Alrighty, guys, let's see. We got a couple of comments I didn't get to read here. So, all right, let's kick it off with Matthew. Matthew says, I love the story of Jungle Boy winning. Dax is a tag team wrestler. That's why he won. What do you mean? No way. He didn't win, though. All right, I was confused on your comment there, so I'll just I'll skip it up past here for a second. Joseph says, I was surprised how much I enjoyed this match. Usually handcuff stipulations don't do it for me, but it was done right this time. Plus gave hints of a potential 6-man at Revolution. FTR, Tully versus Jurassic Express. Interesting. Wrestling Fandom says, Dax versus Jungle Boy lived up to its expectations. Hardwood is a pro and Jungle Boy is a future superstar. Dude, 100%. Nelson Wade says, Jungle Boy is about to be the top face in wrestling. Great style, great bumper, and extremely crisp in the ring. I still think he has a way to get to, being the face of wrestling or being the face of AEW. He still has a way to get there. And that's okay because it's a process, it's a progress. And eventually we will see it happen. But they just have to keep putting him in matches like this. And the more that they do this, the better things will get for him. Not better, but just like, people would just like him more. Nicholas says, I wasn't surprised by how good Jungle Boy was. I know he's a future champion, but I was impressed by how well Dax did in a long match that was not a tag match, had an old school type wrestling feel. Yeah, I guess what you're saying in terms of, seeing him in a singles match on here, it worked out pretty great. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the next segment, which was Brit Baker versus Shanna. I think I just have a few stuff to say about this. I thought it was a perfectly fine match. Shanna is good. I liked seeing her in this match with Brit. I thought it was perfectly fine. I'm happy to see Thunder Rosa. We got to see her in the post-match after this. She ran off Brit Baker and Rebel. So there was really nothing much that I want to say about this other than just happy to see Thunder Rosa. And this was a good way to promote their match next week. And, especially because we hadn't seen Thunder Rosa for a bit. So in terms of actually being like in the arena. So that was good. And then let's get into the main event for AEW Dynamite. This was a fun main event, guys. This was probably the second highlight for me on AEW Dynamite today. Like, this really made the show because I think without this and just the Jungle Boy thing, I wasn't going to say that there was going to be very much that really got me interested in the show. But this was really good. So it was the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers versus Dark Order. And I'll start off by saying that the size difference between Gallows and John Silver was absolutely awesome to see. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't know why, but it didn't really dawn on me, the size difference, until I actually saw them standing in the ring together. I mean, it was pretty hilarious to actually see. So I liked that moment during this match, but I really do think that the people that stole the shine, they were the stars of the match, really kept the match top notch. I have to give credit where credit is due, and that credit deserves to go over to John Silver and Stu Grayson. I really thought that they were the ones that really made this match. They were so good in this. They were so fun to watch. I love this. The Bucks won with the Meltzer driver, and then after the match, the Bucks essentially go over the Battle Royal rules, and they sort of tease that if they do win this tag team Battle Royal, that they get to choose their opponents. And from the looks of it, if they do win, they're looking like they're going to be picking the Good Brothers. So that was sort of a tease there that's kind of leading us into believing that's the direction that they're heading into. And then we saw Rey Fenix come out, but then the Good Brothers essentially get the best for him. Moxley then comes out to help Rey Fenix. Then after this, Kenny Omega comes out, but Moxley gets him in the paradigm shift. And essentially the show ends with Kenny's face flat on the mat and Moxley and Phoenix, on top. So really good ending to AEW Dynamite. Really, really good. And alrighty, let's see what you guys all thought about this here. Gil Jackson points out that Riho is back. Yeah, I was very excited to see that announcement of her for sure. It's been a while since we've seen her. And okay, any other thoughts here that I wanted to go ahead and read before I continue on here? Alrighty. Let's go ahead and jump into, okay, here we go. We got a comment from Zane who says, this main event was a Young Bucks opener special, proving once again we're Dark Order being great. Awesome ending with Mox too. Corey Thomas says, I watched and enjoyed Dynamite this week, and I'm going out of my way to watch NXT this week. No more Raw. It's time for NXT to take over for me. Look, I don't blame you. If you're going to stop watching any show, I don't blame you if you're going to pick Raw, okay? I don't blame you. But SmackDown's doing really great stuff. I'm sure you're watching SmackDown. SmackDown's been doing really good. NXT, we talk about it each and every single week. They do have several highlights on their show. Last week, I thought they were the better of the two shows. So there are certain weeks where I do think NXT outshines AEW. So yeah, check that out as well. We have another super chat from Dagon. Dagon, you are keeping me fed. Thanks, man. Dagon says AEW was too sweet. Yeah, a too sweet ending, 100%. Thank you so much to Scott Frame for the lovely comment. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into, wait. So before we get into NXT, thank you so much, Gil Jackson, by the way. Okay, so before we get into NXT, let's talk really quickly about Beach Break next week. So next week, we are having the Kip and Penelope wedding with Miro as the best man. So we all know that wrestling weddings are always an utter, completely disaster, but a fun disaster. So I'm excited to see how this Kip Penelope wedding works out. Then we have the tag team battle royal, which includes pretty much all the tag teams, which Private Party, Top Flight, FTR, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Sammy Hager, Santana Ortiz, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, Jericho, MJF, and the Bucks. Based on tonight's promo after the main event, my guess would be that the Young Bucks are winning this so that they could challenge the Good Brothers at Revolution, because the winners of the tag team battle royal will get a title shot at Revolution. But if the Young Bucks win, they get to choose their challenger. So, I'm assuming the Young Bucks are winning, guys. I feel like that's a safe bet. And then we're also getting Thunder Rosa, which is versus Brit Baker, which has been a while in the making. So I'm also excited to see that. And then the main event looks pretty awesome. So Kenny and the Good Brothers versus Moxley, Pac, and Phoenix. I'm really looking forward to this main event. Out of everything on Beach Break next week, I think the main event is what's really going to be really good. So I'm actually really excited for that. So we'll see how that turns out. Don't let me down. I hope they don't let me down on this one. Alrighty, David points out, Lana and Lashley's wedding wasn't a fun disaster. You know what, David? You know when something's so bad and so just like, I don't know, like there's no words for it. I can't it was a disaster. It gave me something to talk about on the post show. I'll give it that much. If it's so horrible, but but if it gives me something to talk about on a post show, I guess I can't hate it too much, but I did hate that. Nelson Wade has a question for me. It says, Denise, have you ever been to an AEW taping? So I've been to their pay-per-views, but I've never actually been to an AEW Dynamite, though. I'm out on the West Coast in California, so it's a little bit more difficult for me to go over to an AEW Dynamite show, although I'd like to, but it's not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon with COVID and just everything and being in the West Coast. It doesn't look like it's going to happen for me. Raymond France says, I don't want to talk about that wedding. I think we're all trying to forget it, right? Let's just try to forget about the wedding. Alrighty, guys, before I move on to NXT, just really quickly, if you haven't yet subscribed to F4W Online, whether you're watching right now on YouTube or you're listening to the audio version, please do not forget to follow F4W Online on YouTube. There is a lot of content on here that you guys will find, so make sure you guys subscribe, okay? Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Twitter or on Instagram at _ Denise Salcedo. Enough cheap plugs. I'm moving on to NXT. All right, guys, there isn't that much that I want to talk about in terms of NXT this week. To be honest, like there was a couple of highlights on the show, but let's kind of talk about what, alrighty, hold on. We got, guys, oh man, I don't like putting users in timeout, but I got it for 1 second. All right, guys. Denise Salcedo is not a porn star, all right? All right. I don't have the confidence, okay? It ain't gonna happen for me anytime soon, all right? I'll leave it at that. All righty. match number one, the opening match for NXT was for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament, and it was Killian Dane and Drake Maverick versus MSK. MSK's second match on NXT with MSK winning. I think that was the proper way to go because MSK is the new up-and-coming tag team, and they actually look like they look like they have a lot of faith in MSK right now. So I'm excited to see where that's going. So it was a good call to have MSK actually win. Dakota Kai, Raquel versus Aaliyah and Jessie. This was just there for me. Dakota and Raquel won. I don't have much to say about that one. Then Russ Taylor versus Enhancement Talent. I don't know much about the guy that he was wrestling. If any of you guys have more information on him, please feel free to send that in because I didn't get a chance to really, I didn't get a really good chance to learn more about him. But I will say this was actually one of my favorite, maybe my favorite match from tonight, I think, for NXT, because this match was really good. I liked it. I love the way that Russ sort of, worked his arm. I thought it was pretty cool and kind of looked really insane. Like at one point I was like, bro, you're going to rip the socket out of his arm or his arm out of his socket, however the saying goes. I thought they did a really good job in this match, and Russ Taylor won. Perfect stuff. Then we also had the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Kushida and Leon Ruff, with the Grizzled Young Veterans winning. I was kind of bummed because I'm not that big on the Grizzled Young Veterans. I'll just be real with you guys. I'm not that completely big of a fan. I think I like more the duo of Kushida and Leon Ruff because I think that Kushida is literally the best thing ever. And Leon Ruff he has a lot of potential. Like that kid, like he can move, he can go. He just needs more experience and to get a little bit of those quirks out. But I think he's good. And teaming up with somebody like Kushida is only going to sharpen his skills that much more. So that's honestly what I was thinking there. And alrighty, let's move on to, okay, I liked this match. Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Bronson Reed. I liked this, all right? So I'll just start off by saying I am a Bronson Reed fan, all right? How do I say this? I'm always impressed by big guys that can do cool stuff. All right. If you're a big guy and you're doing stuff like Bronson Reed, kind of like a Keith Lee type, a Willie Mack sort of type, I love that. Like I am invested in that. I like that. Bronson Reed looked really great in this. He did this awesome dive. I loved that. I popped for it. I thought the finish was impressive. And I like the fact that Bronson Reed, he hasn't really been given much of a story, but he's been coming out each and every single week on NXT, and he's been getting some good wins he's been getting some good wins each and every single week, and I am here for that 100%. And I also think that there is more upside to him than Swerve Scott, so I'm glad that they had him win there. Alrighty, and D-Train says, so you were never a Great Khali fan then? I actually was a Great Khali fan, dude. The Great Khali was very impressive to me, man, because it was just the utter size. I'd never seen anybody so big like that in my life. So I was a fan of the Great Khali. Anything else here? We have a comment from Jake who says, Bronson Reed is one of those guys I didn't expect to like, but he's won me over totally. Yeah, I think like all the matches that he's in, he's been doing a pretty good job. Zane says, Bronson Reed is way more complete than Bull Dempsey ever was. Second chance big guys. And then we have a comment from Brandon who says, didn't get a good feeling as Loomis was staring at Gargano. I just want Kushida and Gargano feuding. No Loomis. Just send him to Raw. He'll fit in there. I agree with you, Brandon. I agree with you. I just want to see Kushida Gargano. Exactly the same. Wrestling Phantom says, what? Denise Khali was awful. I liked him in terms of like, I wasn't expecting him to come out and wrestle like Daniel Bryan. I wasn't expecting that out of him. I just wanted to see a big guy. I thought that was impressive. Sue me. I was a Great Khali fan. I still am a Great Khali fan. Alrighty, guys. The main event Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. This was good stuff, guys. I think in terms of story development, this is what's really getting over for me on NXT. Like, this is star level, star quality stuff that they are doing here. I like the fact that, you know, while Finn Balor has a lot of, he's got a target on his back. I like the fact that they are still continuing to further the storyline with him and Kyle O'Reilly, because they sort of have like a weird, like, they're not friends because they're enemies, but they have to, you know, utilize whatever friendship they can make out of it for the best of their benefits. So I do like how all of this is playing out. Plus, with the added addition of the Undisputed Era into this, I like how all of this is playing out. It's like a very, very uneasy alliance between them. Like, at any moment, you know, they can turn on each other, because at the end of the day, Finn Balor is a champion, and we all know Kyle O'Reilly has his eyes set on that. So I do like all of this, how they're playing this out. I like the fact that Kyle O'Reilly was the one that got the win in this match, because now he can go to Finn Balor and basically be like, dude, like, I won this match. You owe me one. So now he kind of has one over Finn Balor's head. So I think that's pretty great there. Post-match, we saw Pete Dunne come out and attack Finn from behind. Oni, Danny, and Pete all attack Finn. But then Adam Cole and Roderick Strong come out to help him, but they end up leaving the ring. So that was the end of NXT. And that's not over for our show here today. I am going to go into some quick Royal Rumble predictions. But before I do that, we have a funny comment from Elliot who says, Denise loves sirloin beef, sons of bitches. I do. I really, really do. I completely agree with you. Hush Burger says, size matters, Denise? ? Hell yeah, it matters. All right, this podcast took another turn, guys. Oh my God. I really hope this would not be the best time for my bosses to come in and check out my stream and be like, what the heck is Denise talking about? She's talking about the Great Khali, talking about size mattering. What are we paying this girl for? Brandon, thank you so much for the super chat. Brandon says, Khali dancing was money. Kind of like this super chat. Yes, exactly. Kind of like this super chat. Alrighty. Matthew says, Brian, come get at Denise. Actually, Brian was already mad at me for my taste in potato chips. He wasn't pleased about that. Oh, wow. All right. Let's see. Guys, Royal Rumble predictions, the most exciting pay-per-view of the year. And I, for one, am excited because not only is this pay-per-view fun, but I will also be doing a post-show Royal Rumble post-recap just like this over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to that channel, because I will be live directly after Royal Rumble talking about everything. And then I'm also excited because I'm doing my first ever Royal Rumble pool. I opened it up on Twitter. We got 60 entrants for the men's and the women's pool, and I'm giving away a prize. So that's pretty exciting. I don't know. Some of you guys might actually be in that pool. So that's going to be pretty excited as well. So now let's go ahead and jump into Royal Rumble predictions, guys. Feel free to send in yours too. So let's talk about the Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens in a last man standing match. Real quickly, I think Roman Reigns is going to win. I do think that we might see an interference either from Jimmy or Jey Uso. I kind of don't hope so, because I think it'll just keep continuing the feud along. And I kind of feel like if Roman Reigns is going to win, he might as well have a clean win there. So I know that Kevin Owens also has been losing a lot, but at the end of the day, we all know that Roman Reigns is sort of the definitive answer to actually win. He's the one that's on top of the mountain right now. He's your tribal chief, whatever keywords you want to use. Roman Reigns is the guy that I think is definitely walking out as champion. And I think everybody here is thinking the same thing. Joseph says, yeah, Roman wins. Not sure if he needs help from Jey. I wouldn't like the help from Jey. That's what I don't want to see. But I do think that Roman Reigns should win there. Then we have the WWE Championship match, Drew McIntyre defending the title against Goldberg. And even though I am a Goldberg fan, and a lot of people hate on me on that for already, don't worry, guys. I'm getting the heat. I can take the heat. It's okay. But I do think that Drew McIntyre should be winning this match. Just because I'm a Goldberg fan does not mean that I want Goldberg to win this match. Okay, guys? Drew McIntyre needs to win this match. I think that it needs to be a quick, easy breezy match. Have Goldberg come in, hit his, greatest hits, but have Drew McIntyre coming out on top. I hope that this match does not involve The Miz, because I do not care for having The Miz involved in this match. If he is involved, I hope he's speared, and that's it. I'm done with the Money in the Bank with him having it. I'm done. Okay, done. So yes, Drew McIntyre on this one. Muhammad says Drew should destroy. That's me. We're not going to call him Oldberg. We'll call him Goldberg on here. I'm a fan still, all right? Any other comments here that I want to read? Let's see. Joseph said he's scared for this one. And that he's scared that Miz is going to ruin this match with his stupid briefcase. Drew must retain. He gains nothing from this match. I do think that he gains a little something from this match. If he gets a win over Goldberg, I do think that is a gain there. But there you guys go. I do think that Drew McIntyre should be winning this match. But yeah, I do not want to see The Miz come in or cash in or any of those. I don't want to see any of that. All right, team. Moving on. We have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Charlotte Flair and Asuka defending their titles against Shayna and Nia Jax. Oh, God. All right. I'm not looking forward to this match. I don't want Charlotte Flair and Asuka to be champions, but then I also do not want Shayna and Nia Jax to be champions. But I would prefer to see Charlotte and Asuka as champions, so that's why I'm going to pick them for this match. I don't want to see Shayna and Nia as a tag team anymore. I don't. I think Shayna needs to be off on her own. We need to separate them. That's it. Anything else here? All righty, let's move on to the men's Royal Rumble match. Actually, first, let's do the women's Royal Rumble match. All right, so my dream pick for the Royal Rumble women's match for the winner, I would say, is definite Rhea Ripley. She's the one that if she came out and she won the Royal Rumble, just know that somewhere out there, I'm popping for this really, really hard. So I do think that Rhea Ripley is the one that should win. However, if she doesn't win, I would go with Bianca Belair. Now, if Bianca Belair doesn't win, I'm thinking Bayley will win. So those are my options for the women's Royal Rumble. Then over for the men's Rumble, I would go with my dream pick is Damian Priest. He would be the one that if he came out, same thing like Rhea Ripley, if he were to come out and he were to win, I would mark so hard for that. But I think that the reality of who really is going to win, I do see it leaning more towards Daniel Bryan. And if it just so happens to not be Daniel Bryan, my second pick would be AJ Styles. But I see it going more towards Daniel Bryan. And my dream pick, Damian Priest. So there you go, guys. Those are my Royal Rumble predictions. Let's see. I'm going to read some final comments, guys. Go ahead and send anything in that you want me to read in before I go. Let's see. Anything good here? Well, there's lots of good stuff, but let's see what I see here. Our rig says, Asuka doesn't really need to show up for the match. WWE has made it all about Charlotte. Yeah. It hasn't been a great showcase for Asuka overall. B.A. Charles says, I was listening to a non-wrestling podcast the other day, and they referred to him as The Miz from the real world. Well, I would at least refer to him as The Miz from Miz and Mrs., because that's, a current popular show. I would imagine for them to actually say it. We have a lot of people sending in their let's see. We got one from Jake Larson who says, Denise, you post a post-it note of Rhea Ripley on your forehead. That's your only pick. I did post a note, posted on my forehead that read Rhea Ripley. Ryan Smith says, men, give me Daniel Bryan. Priest should be making his main roster debut in the Rumble. Yeah, I do think so too. I really do think so. And then anything else here? All right, we have a comment from Brandon who says, Seeing how Lana won the Survivor Series match, it would be funny if Lana was number 30 if she won by default because competitors 1 through 29 eliminate themselves and she just walks to the ring and wins. Oh, I would not like that. I think that would be very disappointing. That would not be, no. And I feel like the women's Royal Rumble is always going to get judged harder than the men's. So if they were to do an ending like that, I could only imagine like the negative backlash that they would get if they were to do something like that. And B.A. Charles says, I just hope we get to see the gobbledygook. I can never say gobbledygooker again. God, embarrassing. Can't talk anymore. Mike Davies hopes to see Bianca win. Ryan Smith hopes to see, Mike hopes to see Keith Lee win. Ryan hopes to see Bianca win. Yeah, I'm seeing quite a few picks here for Bianca. Danny says, ooh, AJ Styles is a good pick. Never thought of that. Although I really do think that they may be working towards AJ Styles versus Triple H. That's what I see happening. So that's why I'm not completely sold on AJ Styles winning, because I do see him wrestling Triple H instead. I think that might be a possible WrestleMania match. I don't know. That's just my prediction. We have a super chat from Matt James, and we're going to close it off on this one. Thank you so much to Matt for sending one in. He says, who do you think they're announcing as the number 30 pick in one of the Rumble matches? Also, what do you think Edge does in the Rumble? I think that Edge is going to come in. I don't think he's going to win, but he could, though. This is one of those years where pretty much anybody can actually win. Like, you don't really have a solid answer for who might be winning. If he does come in, I don't think he's actually winning. I think he'll get a couple of eliminations. He'll last a while, and then that'll probably be it. But again, we could see him winning. The number 30th pick, I don't know. That can always be like, that could be anything. It could be the biggest star. It could be a return. It could be, just a joke one. You just don't know. But considering that they're actually announcing it ahead of time, then they probably have to give us a good name so that people could be interested. So we'll see. But thank you so much to Matt for sending in this super chat. And we have a comment from Jamie Miles. I'm sorry, not a comment, a super chat. Thank you so much to Jamie. Jamie says, do you see Cena coming in mid-Rumble? I don't know, but that would be a really good surprise, especially because like right now, the fact that you don't have an audience, I don't know if that's going to keep some people away from watching the Rumble because there's no audience other than the Thunderdome audience. So having somebody like Cena, even if maybe he's pre-announced, that could be a good way to get people. I don't know. Although I would like to see it though. I usually like those surprises. My wish, and I don't think it's going to happen. So this is me really wishing and reaching and all of that. I would love to see Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, if he were to come in, and I know he's retired, but I don't really count the Baron Corbin retirement match as retired, although he is. I think that would be an amazing surprise. And after what we saw last year with Edge coming in and, being that surprise that nobody was expecting, I'm like, what if we were to see Kurt? But I don't think it's going to happen. Alrighty, guys, there you go. That is our show for today. Thank you guys so much for coming in each and every single week, whether you're watching the YouTube version of this or the audio version of this. I really, really do appreciate your support on this channel, and I hope to see you guys back here next week for episode 19 of Speak Now Pro Wrestling. We will have Beach Break to talk about and so much more, so make sure you guys come on here. Again, do not forget to subscribe to F4W Online. Also, check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. I do have a brand new interview with Peyton Royce, and we do talk about the Royal Rumbles, her separation from the Iconics. So make sure you guys check out that interview as well. Guys, the more likes and hits that those videos get, the more interviews I might get with WWE. So make sure you guys go ahead and give those some love. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Twitter or on Instagram @_Denise Salcedo. Thank you guys so much. Have a lovely night. Take care, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone. Bye.